Hello and welcome, this is Caroline and today I am going to answer prompt 6 of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot 2020. Prompt 6 is what tarot decks are you anticipating in 2020 and why? Okay, so I will begin with the decks that I have acquired recently. 3 of those decks I have shown already in a video about the 2019 decks. So there is the Apparition Tahoe deck by Mary Elizabeth Evans. I have acquired this deck in December 2019, so it's very recent and I have not had a chance to work a lot with it yet. Let me put that to the side. Oops, sorry. And it is an extremely beautiful deck, extremely interesting and quite different from what we are used to see as far as interpretation of the Rider-Waite goes. I love the way the artist uses the negative space in the cards, and I love the way she chooses to interpret each card, and I think I am really going to have a good time working with this deck. I also like the cards are a little bit large for my hands, but I really like the cardstock and the matte cardstock and the sound it makes. Listen, I really like the sound it makes when shuffling. I am anticipating a very good time with this deck. So this was the Apparition Tarot deck. Second, those two, which for some reason I always keep together. I bought them together and they are together in my mind. I've even started using them as together as multi-deck readings, which is interesting. So this is the Next World Tarot. I'm trying not to show the same cards all the time because I've already shown that deck in another video. So this is the Next World Tarot. A very talkative deck. Each card has a lot to say. And I really like the way the characters are depicted in this deck. Beautiful deck. Full of beautiful people. So this is the Next World Tarot, and I should have taken that deck out of its box before I started the camera because the book is large and I really need to find a pouch for this deck as soon as possible because the box is not very practical. So this is the Numinous Tarot and a very friendly deck. I find that this deck, and also the Next World Tarot, but even more with the Numinous Tarot, it's a very friendly deck, very soothing, very happy, positive. It's a deck that takes you by the hand and tells you that you are beautiful and you are worthy, and it's just a very friendly deck, very positive deck. A deck I would recommend if you are feeling low because it's like having a conversation with a nice supporting friend. So that's the Numinous Tarot. And then a deck I just bought with some Christmas money, and this is 78 Tahoe Mythical. 78 Tahoe is a group of artists that have a collaboration of artists that has published several decks already. I have one of their previous deck. It's called the Tahoe Nautical, and the theme is the sea and water. And it's a beautiful deck, but I'm not very fond of the cardstock and the presentation. This one, the Tahoe Mythical, I'm very happy because I really like the art. As I did with the Nautical Tahoe, I also like the art. But this time I think they have made a great job with the choice of the cardstock and the overall presentation. I like that the cards are borderless and they are gold gilded, and it's a nice cardstock. It's a very beautiful presentation in general, and each artist made a different card. So we have it's not 78 cards, actually it's 80 cards. I think there are two, where is it written? Oh, 81 cards. There are 3 additional cards, and each one is made by a different artist, but I still think it makes for a very cohesive deck all in all. So great work here, and I'm looking forward to working with that deck. So those 4 I have just shown you are the newcomers in my deck collection. And now I am going to mention 2 decks that obviously I already have in my collection, but those 2 decks are going to be republished in 2020. This one for sure, this is Mythical Creatures Tahoe by Baba Studio. The one I have here is a limited edition in monochrome version that was published in 2016, and I have been waiting for the colored version for a long time, and finally it's coming, and it's going to be published in 2020, and very, very soon actually. I think it's going to be released in the next couple of weeks or maybe couple of months, but very shortly. And I really like this deck. This monochrome version is not easy to read because it's not easy on the eyes, because the images are so dense that you have to scrutinize each card to or maybe it's because my eyes are not very good, but you have to make an effort with your vision to see all the details. But still, it is absolutely stunning. It's a stunning deck, and I think the colored version is going to be easier to see, and I know for a fact, even though I've not seen it yet already, I know it's going to be a favorite of mine. I cannot wait for this deck to be released, and I know it's going to be a very, very good favorite for me. So this is the Mythical Creatures Tahoe by Baba Studio, and this little deck here is called the Inspiring Aliens Tahoe, and it's a deck I bought on Etsy a few years ago, and it was a very, very short run of 100 decks. My deck is number 3 out of 100, so it was a very, very small run. And it's a cute and well-made little deck featuring alien creatures in the Rider-Waite tradition. And it's a very easy little deck to read with. It's full of colors, and the little aliens are actually very human-like, in that they have two eyes, two ears, they are walking, they have two arms and two hands, so they are aliens. Well, this one has only one eye, but most of them have two. They are aliens, but they are very human-like, so you can very easily recognize yourself in those little creatures. And there is an ongoing debate in the Tahoe community about inclusiveness in Tahoe decks, and representing people, different sorts of people, people with different body type, people of different ages, people with different skin colors. And I think it's an interesting debate, and I'm glad that it is taking place in the Tahoe community. I also think that choosing aliens, or also sometimes animals, but aliens in particular, because these aliens are very human-like, they are humanoid aliens. Choosing aliens to represent the characters in a Tahoe deck is a way of making the deck inclusive, in that it's not representing any sort of human body type or age or skin color or gender. This alien is obviously female, but some of them could be either female or male or both. And it's a nice way to be inclusive, I think, or to avoid the issue of risking to not be inclusive enough. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really like this little deck. This little deck is, I know that the artist is right now trying to republish this deck in a bigger run, and she has an Indiegogo campaign going on right now that I will link into the description of the video. If you are attracted to those little creatures, and if you like the colors of this deck, and if you like a good Rider-Waite style deck, it's not a clone, but it's heavily inspired by the Rider-Waite system. I recommend that you go and have a look at this Indiegogo campaign and give that young artist some love, because she deserves it. So that was one deck. And a last deck that I have had for some time, and I'm not anticipating a new edition in 2020, alas, but it's just a deck I've had in my collection for a long time, and I have not worked with it in a long time. And this is the Fairytale Tahoe by Baba Studio, and I am going to try and use it more in 2020. First, because it's a beautiful deck, and I am very lucky that I have it in my collection. It's out of print now, and you can still find it on eBay, but it goes for a lot of money now. But you can still find it if you really have your heart set on it. And I think it's a very interesting deck to work with because of the fairy tale it is inspired by. I am looking forward to reading the fairy tales that are attached to each card, or rereading some fairy tale, discovering new fairy tales. And I'm really looking forward to working more with this deck. I know that Lisa Hunt also published a Fairytale Tahoe deck, which is very good also, which is out of print in English and in French, but it is still in print, I think, in the Spanish version and German version. It's very different from this one. The art is very different, but the um, um, the basis is the same, in that each card is based on a specific fairy tale, and the companion book has the fairy tale ready for you to read for each card, along with the interpretation of the card. So I know that the Lisa Hunt one can be found in different languages, and there is an app in English that has all the fairy tales and interpretation for the cards that is not very expensive, and you can easily download on your phone or tablet. And this one by Baba Studio, which I think is stunning, like all their decks. Look at the back. I love their backs. Usually I really like the backs to choose. This one is difficult to find because it's out of print, but it's not the most sought after of their deck. So when you find it for sale second hand, it is generally not as expensive as some of their other decks. So my son is back and he's playing the piano downstairs, so I think I'm going to cut the video here. And anyway, I've shown you all the decks I wanted to show you. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye. Bye bye.